Okay, so for today's video, I'm going to show you how I'm going to do a tool to be able to push in the race on a trailer hub so that the bearing goes in here. So this is a race and the bearing goes in here, right? But the race is actually fitted hard into the hub. You can start hitting it around with a hammer to put it in softly. The problem is that once it's flush in there, you still need to go in about another half inch. So to push it in, it'd be really hard that anyone has a socket to the size that'll be able to hold it, by the inside perimeter here, but not wedge the socket up against the wall there, which is why you can't just use another bearing to push that bearing in, because then you have both bearings wedged in there. So what I did is got this one, which is an old one, ground it down in the bench grinder, or you could use, your Makita, your angle grinder, and grind it down like just enough so that it goes in loose. And when you use this to push in the other one, this one won't get stuck. Now here's what I'm doing today, because there's still a problem with that you have to be holding this by the side and kind of hit it all the way around the perimeter, and you can bind it up, the actual race that you're trying to push in. So the right thing will be to hit it in the middle. So what I'm going to do for future projects and not have to struggle hitting it on the perimeter is I'm going to weld basically a flat piece here. And this one just happens that I have one that's round, a piece here that I can use for this. But if not, you could get any, piece of plate, weld it to here, and then, cut the perimeter, make it round the same way this is. But in this case, I have this piece and I'm just going to weld it. And then once this is welded there, I still don't want to even hit here in the center with a hammer, even though it'd be perfectly fine. It's because though there's an issue that you might have a part of the hub interfering to what you're doing. So to make it even easier and better, I'm going to actually weld a bolt then in the middle so I could hit the bolt. And this is really more applicable if you're doing this replacement without removing the hub from the wheel, which could be done. You could just remove the whole assembly together. So I'll be welding these two things together and this one here. And let me cut and show you a little clip of how I did it by hand, and then I'll come back how I weld this to prevent having to do it by hand, going around the perimeter little by little. Be right back. Okay, I got the other bearing and the other raceway, and got back and forgot to start putting recording. So, but I'll still show you how I do on the next one. For now, this one I started it. The raceway I started putting it in gently, and I'm gonna, since I don't have the actual tool to put it on, there's an actual tool for it that makes it a little bit easier. I'm using the old raceway to hammer, because I don't want to hammer on the new raceway. And basically at the beginning, you just put it as straight as you can, and you go around little by little, tapping it softly here. And once it's a little bit caught, then you come with the old bearing or the actual tool. And if you have the tool, you could actually start it from the beginning with the tool if you like. But it's just basically at the beginning, it's just make sure that it's as straight as possible. What I'm gonna do, because I've done several of these already, I'm gonna make my own tool. I'm gonna weld a plate to this with a hole, and then weld a little, like a bolt in the middle here to tap it through the middle. If I want to, like or a nut, just so I can hit straight, flat in the middle, and I don't dent it in the metal. I'll do something. I'm gonna show a video on it when. Okay, let's start welding now. So I'm gonna try to center this as best as I can. Doesn't really have to be perfect. And I'm gonna put the ground in the middle in this particular case. I'll center this. Let me tack it, and then I'll get my hand out of the way. Okay. Now on this one, it's going to be a little bit more complicated because it's going to be a big gap to fill. It's not like this one that's pretty snug. So it'll take me a little bit longer to do this one. As a matter of fact, for the demonstration, let me go ahead and do the small one here for the video. That I'll spend less time welding. So you can see how it ends up. And of course, you do the tacks on opposite sides so it doesn't pull. And then I'll cross it and do it on the other 90s angle, 90 degree off of the other one. That way it doesn't pull. And let me show you how those little tacks more or less are one on each. You see, not perfect, but it's just to keep it where I won't get the weld to pull to one side more. And now I could do it at any, it could even be standing up like that. Because it doesn't matter because now it's not gonna deflect in any position. But let me just put it off to the side now and start welding. Oh, that didn't go all the way to the back there in some parts. Let me go and do another bead there. I have to do another pass right there, yep. Damn it. I want to see how hot that was. Okay, so there, let me get some pliers to manipulate that because if not, I'm gonna burn through these gloves. Okay, grabbing the pliers. I gotta turn it over because this is the side that the bolt is not gonna go in. But as you can see, I welded the perimeter there. Now I'm gonna weld the other side. Fill in. Because it has a gap. Because remember, this is like conical because the raceway or the race is at an angle. So now I will be filling in the perimeter here. And then this is the side that's gonna have also that bolt. Okay, now we're gonna go to the last step, which is putting this pretty much in the middle. As good as I can get it in the middle. I don't want no spikes to land on me. Yeah, I did pull it a little bit. Normally when you weld, that's why you gotta do tack welding on two sides, but even on my first one here, lightly, it pulled a little bit. I'll tell you now how I could tell. Yeah, definitely pulled. A little bit more than I feel comfortable with. I want to see it, at least that my eye sees it even. That's why you tack it only first, just to check. You see? And now, this time, I'm gonna tack the opposite side. Because that one's gonna be there already dirty. So I'll do this side.
Puppy.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I was screaming to you.
It's okay. The bolt is not hot. There's flat. Now screw it to this side. I need something else to hold this here, so I could hit it into place. Hopefully without breaking off that tack. Let's see. Trying to bend it to where I want to have it flat. Let's see if it's flat now. What? Nah, right now.
No, he's out of school, isn't he?
I don't know, but right now I'm doing this. Let me finish this.
He called his dad after that.
Okay, when I finish. 10 minutes.
Go.
All right, now it's looking good. Good enough, at least. This doesn't have to be perfect, but I just didn't want it crooked either. So now, as you can see, so I weld it up. I can grab this and hammer the other one in. Let me show you a close-up of how this would look. And basically, it's a tool to push in the race to the hub. It's hot, but that's how it came out. And it could have been done instead of using these round things that I got. Just a flat piece of plate, maybe like a little bit quicker than thicker than 1/8 of an inch at least. That would go. If you have a 1/4, that'd be awesome. And you kind of put it on top, weld it, and then grind off the perimeter, make it round. You know. I just happen to have these, but look at the gap on that one, so I'm gonna have to fill in a lot there. That's why I did that one first. All right. Catch you on the next one.